arguably, climate change is the biggest problem we face as humanity. And GBTA is, in specifically through the Sustainability Summit, is bringing all the folks throughout the industry and throughout this ecosystem together. You've got innovators such as ourselves, you've got super influential travel buyers, as well as travel providers, all coming together. And when you bring all these like-minded players to the table, and all from differing perspectives, but yet all focused on the same goal and motivated to make a positive change, then positive change happens. So while this problem isn't new, we're at the forefront of doing some really great and spectacular things to address it, and it's exciting to be a part of it. The number one thing that I think is needed is also the most challenging, and that's behavioral change, and behavioral change in a number of ways. And behavioral change is possible. We've seen it done in history before, but the problem is that this time we just don't have a lot of time to make that change. So that being the case, I view the corporate travel buyer as probably the most influential change agent in this whole process. They carry this massive amount of influence to make that change happen and have it happen rapidly. And, unfortunately, money talks, right? So whether it's procuring the most fuel efficient airline on a given route, or procuring a booking solution that exposes the differences, so that the differences between flight choices or hotels, so that travelers can make the best informed decisions as well. Or showing support and backing innovations to show that demand, similar to what the industry is doing for SAF. That's a big innovation, but there's also lots of small innovations that all businesses need that type of support to show demand. So like I say, money talks. And when business is rewarded to those companies that are doing more and are stepping up to be more sustainable, then that reward gets reinvested. And likewise, those who may lose the business will begin to prioritize sustainability efforts in their practices. So again, like I say, I think corporate travel buyers have the most influential position to make change happen. Well, I think it's important to recognize that Cirium is one of the industry leaders in aviation analytics. So when we learned of the problem that travel managers and quite honestly, the rest of the industry was having in assessing aviation emissions or emissions for flights. And that takes the form of procurement managers making procurement decisions, or travelers making purchase decisions on an individual flight. The problem, and GBTA also uncovered this in their most recent surveys, is there's a big hurdle, which is data and access to accurate, transparent, and comparable data across carriers. So we recognize that we were in a really good position to do something about it. Now, I think it's important when we're talking about emissions to understand, well, what generates these emissions, right? And there's two big factors that influence one flight emissions versus another flight. And that's the weight of the flight, okay? The weight of this heavy object as it defies gravity. The second influential factor is the operations of that very heavy piece of equipment and weight as it defies gravity. So going back to Cirium, we've got two massive data sets. One is around the fleet, and that's we track over 400 pieces of information on about 400,000 commercial aircraft. So we know an awful lot about the aircraft that was utilized on a flight. The second big data set that we bring to the table is real-time flight operations. And we've got real-time flight operations for about 99.5% of all scheduled passenger flights around the globe. So we bring these two data assets together in creating this methodology to historically estimate a flight's emissions, as well as utilize that data to predict the flight's emissions on future flight schedules. So we've created this methodology over the past several years, and we're really, really proud of the accuracy that we were able to obtain. And that isn't us saying it's accurate, it's also our airline partners that have validated our data against what actually happened. And so we know it is highly accurate, and it's something that we're very proud of. So this information and this methodology that we utilize, it's not that we've built it and now we're done. As an industry, we need to move beyond just building it and being done. This is a problem that is innovators are going to be chipping away. And when I say innovators, you've got the technology innovators, you've got airlines innovating and improving how they may operate. You've got aircraft and engine and other equipment manufacturers making improvements continuously to address this problem, as well as ground and air traffic providers. So as these improvements are made, we're incorporating them constantly, and we are able to show continually the progress that's being made within a market, by an airline or across airlines, etc. So this data is what we can bring to the market and help innovators and helping travel buyers and travelers make better decisions.